No, let me say the way who the
Yeah,
man where my own.
girl.
I got
Who's
that. I got that guy who
sad?
did too.
Who's sad?
It's it's a hoodie episode today.
Honestly, 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 honestly. How are you preparing for the Christmas? How's the weather? Your first, this is probably your
No,
first
it's my
Christmas in
second
the UK,
actually.
right?
No, it's the second one. Yeah, I came in August last year, so I feel like I don't
Okay,
the old.
but
I don't the old for the country.
is the first for your kids or the second for your kids?
The second as well because they came in. I think the second week, first week of December last year. So
I've lost track of time, honestly. But before
but
we
not
continue,
two are not two are the same anyway. Yeah.
I need to send this message to Oga George. I know you're listening. You owe us a Christmas gift. And
Oh,
on
of
one
course,
side,
of course.
massage. I see that massage they're advertising. You owe us one each. I wanted to say last week, but it escaped my mind. But I said I wasn't going to forget this week. This is the penultimate episode for 2024, so it's exciting times for 3,000 miles. We've been going strong. And next week is the final episode for the year, and it's gonna be wonderful. It's gonna be a full house. So get ready for next week. Well, actually, today we have a very, very important, interesting topic we want to talk about. And first now I'll let you know the lines will be open today. So if you have any you want to contribute anything, you want to call in, you could call in through the lines. The lines are open. This conversation is a very open-ended conversation and open for discussion. It's an open-ended question. The question is, why are Africans or immigrants selling their country short in their host countries? Why? Because there's a lot going on right now. Because I'll say the advent of the social media, way back in school, where Marshall McLuhan was talking about that the world is going to be a global village. With the advent of the new media, people didn't really understand what he saw the future. He was probably the Nostradamus of mass communication because he saw
True.
tomorrow. He was the man who saw tomorrow, and that's exactly what's happening because people are being able to come on. Because I know before there was this term we studied. It was called narrowcasting, where you could like narrowcast to a selected audience with a selected device. It was not when it's not called broadcast, where you can broadcast a wider audience, where you need all the studio equipment. You had the narrowcasting where you could talk to a selected number, but right now that's out of the window because from the comfort of one's home, one could do a video and it goes viral, even more than the news on CNN.
Yeah, that's
It
right.
hits the world, and there's so much negative effect of that right now because it's leading to a lot of people who could just go on social media, get on your phone, do a recording, and say something, and that thing goes viral. And the truth about information is, people have this selective nature of information. There's the selectivity nature of information where people tend to want to perceive information in a selective way. Some retain it in a selective way. Some process it in a selective way, or in a way where it does not create a cognitive dissonance in their system. It does not alter their system of belief. So once, whether the information is true, whether it's false, as long as it's in line and consistent with their existing beliefs, there's always people tilting towards that information. And the problem with the world right now is the more people tilt towards a kind of information, even if it's not fact, people tend to want to take it as fact because of the acceptance nature of that
Yeah.
information. It brings me to the interview because I've been seeing bits. I've not been able to see the whole interview, but I've been seeing bits and bob. bobs of the interview about the leader of the Conservative Party, Kemi. I feel first thing I feel she's always using Nigeria as a preference point to gain some kind of to make our interviews go viral. Because one thing I know about Nigerians is Nigerians are like we have taken over a huge chunk of the social media space, whether you like it or not. Like the Nigerian social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and all is one that is the first to reckon with in the world. Even content creators in Nigeria,
Oh,
they
true.
are on the rise. So she said something, and it shocked me when she said, first of all, she made 2 points. I will agree with her first point because we already have a bad image. When she talked about the police being bad, that she doesn't trust the Nigerian police, she'd rather trust the UK police. Good and fine. I don't trust the Nigerian police myself because I've seen and I've heard things. But in spite of that, there are still good sides of the police to it. Even the British police has their bad sides. I don't know if you saw the news of police in England. I've forgotten the place who was jailed for drug peddling. A police officer.
No, I never saw that.
It
But that's
never
not
went
news. That
viral.
shouldn't be news to anybody. Yeah.
But it never went viral because the fact is that because there's a way you put emphasis on a certain news, you bring it to the fore. It wasn't used as a discussion. It wasn't brought forward because there's a way they push there's a way they push things in the media space that information becomes general opinion. But it wasn't brought forward. But she said something that the Nigerian police, she doesn't trust them. But the truth I feel the thing I would say here is saying that it's your own opinion. But painting the whole Nigerian police force with just one experience, that is where the problem lies. Myself as a human being, I've had good encounters with the police. I've had bad encounters with the police. And like I always say, it's a general thing everywhere. Even in the US, people have bad encounters with the police. Loads of bad things we even see is on the news and everything. But you hardly see any person of American origin maybe going to another country to say, I don't trust the American police. They did this, they did that, they did that. That is selling yourself short outside. And then you went for that to say Nigeria is a poor country. That's why they steal. And I'm like, whoa. That's it's funny because I don't think the UK is as rich as Nigeria in terms of natural resources and everything. The major problem we have in Nigeria is the mismanagement and corruption of the leaders. And as a public leader, you should be facing the issues directly. I know you're a politician, you're trying to be politically balanced because you don't know you might need political favors or allies with certain people in future. So you do not want to shoot yourself in the foot. But in a bid not to shoot yourself in the foot, you have to be careful how you portray people. I started reading comments and everything. I read comments and all that, and people were saying, she's not wrong, she's right, she's entitled to opinion, she's focused on the UK, she's not Nigeria. I I don't see. I don't have an issue with you wanting to renounce if you're a Nigerian and you became British and you're not. You're like, nah, I'm not Nigerian anymore. That's your own opinion. And the first thing is, I always blame our leaders for trying to familiarize with. They do it all the time. They do it all the time. Nigerian leaders. The moment a Nigerian is making waves abroad, they want to really familiarize with the person. Even if, as long as that person just bears a Nigerian, whether the person doesn't even know where Nigeria is located. They come and start bringing the next thing. Abike Dabiri, minister. I think she's minister of his interior. What she's minister of? What?
No, I think
The
he's
head of the Nigerians in
as
diaspora.
for a commission.
Okay, diaspora committee. Yeah, the next thing you
Mm.
see her, she's flying around the country. She's dropping statements. And initially, I was happy with the way Kemi responded to them. Like last year, you didn't drop a statement about me. You didn't know me. You didn't know who I was until you saw me in the news and you're like, ah, I'm a person with that. And that's the problem we have in Nigeria. We always farms in. Right now, Williams, nobody knows you.
Hmm.
I don't think the Nigerian government even knows you in the UK right now. I don't think so.
I
Hope
hope.
I'm not owing them money anyway.
But I don't think they know you. I don't think they know because our database is that bad that
Yeah,
they might not even know.
terrible actually.
We have a terrible
Mm.
database. A country where you use you open a bank account with a national identity.
Mm-hmm.
After opening a bank account, you have to now do BVN. Without BVN, you cannot
BVN.
run the
Yeah.
account. And for BVN, you need when you then you do a BVN. Then when your national ID lost, you need a BVN to. So the country is
Hmm.
confused. You keep doing. Now you have an international passport. They say for you to renew your international passport, you need to get a national identity number.
Hmm.
So the country is just our database is in shambles. So we cannot even keep a proper record of who is where is where, who is located
Hmm.
at a particular at what time. So the point I'm making here is tomorrow you do an invention in the UK, or tomorrow all of a sudden you become a popular radio presenter of BBC One or one of these radio houses in the UK, and you're making waves, and the next thing they're doing a post that want to come with our son who's they will go back and that's when they go back and start digging your history and bring
Mm.
out your matriculation picture from Uniben. Say,
Mm-hmm.
I see, he's a Benin boy, and what's name? What's your governor's name? Monday
Okpebolo.
Okpebolo. The
Oh,
6,632
my
million.
brother. Oh,
The next thing
wonderful. Let's not go there because I could talk on that guy for 2 days. Yeah.
the next thing is messaging you. They are sending you
Mm-hmm.
messages that is posting on his page that our people, Edo people are great. They make wave around the world. Blah blah
Mm-hmm.
this and that and that and that. But how you tell you that, please? You don't know.
No, they're not.
When you dey struggle to find
No,
ticket money to call UK, nobody
my
know.
brother.
So I don't know.
I mean, it.
I don't know. I've been speaking too much. Let me give you the floor to really say some things. Honestly, yeah.
All right, yeah. First of all, it's good to be here.
3,000 miles, started like a joke, and then we're here. It's the second to last edition for the year. It's been great. Dimeji is not here, so we kind of missed him, but holding it down for him. Hopefully next week he'll be here. It's been a great year. So like Santi said earlier, Oga George, we're expecting our hampers at the end of this episode or the next anyway. So regarding the issue, I would say ordinarily we shouldn't be debating this because it's Kemi's only airing or sampling her opinion. Um, Two things I probably have an issue with is um, obviously she's exaggerating, you know. So I can't say it's not your truth because it's your truth somewhat. But bro, we're Nigerians. We've lived in Nigeria for the greater part of our lives, right? I'm talking as far back as early 80s. So it's not most of the stories she tells are stretched, for to suit her agenda. So it's her opinion, it's her experience. I can't say it's not, but as a Nigerian who has lived in Nigeria for a very long time, most of her experiences or her tales are stretched, embellished, sort of. Um, she has her reasons for doing that, which would be to gain traction, because that's something people easily love, where they see us, in quote, Africans, in quote, go against each other. They love when that happens. I have experiences from work as well about how they just sit back and like, yeah, you guys are always doing that to each other. So it's her opinion. I wouldn't say she has an agenda. it's helping her. She might eventually get to be PM someday. I don't know. But so there's that. She is. I feel she's stretching it. She's most of her because she said the last time that in that same interview that the police robbed her brother. They stole his shoes, and them
On
like,
his police stole
come
your
on,
shoes.
yeah. I mean, her brother's shoes, and I'm like, okay, I come, but so it's
Because
all
what is
right.
it?
I
The
mean,
next
she
time
has.
take off your shoes on the ground, you're standing there.
I will need this shoe for a greater purpose or something,
A greater
So,
purpose. These
so
your shoes
that's
are
so we
these your
as
shoes have been
Nigerians.
set apart. Let me put this on point here.
Uh,
Your shoes have been chosen for a higher calling.
oh, we need to get more mileage out of these shoes. You're not using it effectively.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're not using them to
That's
provide
it.
this.
So let's just help you. So come on. And then to think that it happened way back, then and Nigeria police is actually in a very bad light right now. They have bad PR, honestly. And then on X, after the interview, you see a lot of people saying, "No, don't blame her," because I would never trust Nigerian police, and they start to share their experiences about how what they've gone through, and some of them are really terrible. One of them who said, because he came from abroad, Nigerian police told him, if you don't give me this amount of money, I will shoot you and I'll place a gun on your corpse and say you're a thief, and nothing will happen. And which is that's traumatic. It never
My
leaves you.
brother, let
So
me share an experience with you before you continue. I just remember now because to be honest, I will tell you the
yeah,
truth. We've all had experiences with the Nigerian police. Me myself, I've had experiences with them.
yeah,
The last time I traveled to Nigeria, I didn't make it look like I came from. The first thing I did was I had to use another phone because
of
I know
course.
if the phone I used here, I had pictures of my colleagues who are white and everything,
Oh,
and
of course.
I don't want them thinking, ah. So I had a separate
Mm-hmm.
phone I was using in Nigeria. But I was so lucky that I didn't really get stopped by the Nigerian police too much because maybe I blended in because it was where I grew up.
Mm,
So, but I had
yeah.
an experience from that was in 20, I think it was 2019. It was
Okay.
myself and Dankar when Dankar came to Nigeria.
Oh, yeah.
I was riding with him, myself, Jude. We're about four of us in the car. We were riding
Okay.
from Benin to Asaba.
That's about. Oh, yeah. I remember.
So
Yeah.
we had like stuff in the car and everything. So we had our bags and all that stuff, traveling and everything. He had loads of perfumes he bought for people and everything. So we're riding, and then because it was a new car, because his brother just got the car, so we're riding it back to Asaba, and then we got stopped on the road by a set of policemen. We had gotten stopped by different because the
Oh, yes, there are different checkpoints on that
we
road. Yeah.
had gotten stopped and we've been passing through all the different checks. So we got to this particular set of guys, and the moment they just saw it was four guys in the car, and that car in front was obviously on a singlet because the weather was hot and everything, and shorts and
Yeah.
everything. Myself was on shorts, and then the guy was like, "Oh, you guys stop, you guys come down." These people they know how to smell. They smell abroad.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't know. Maybe they go training. Say they have special training for that.
I mean, they.
So the next thing stopped us, and it was like, we're just on a routine stop and search. I was like, okay, cool. Nobody's going to stop for doing a stop and search. So
Mm-hmm.
search the car. So in the glove box, we had about 400k naira in the box. So the
Mm-hmm.
moment the guy opened the glove box, the money fell out. So that was an extra incentive for him. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
need to find something on these guys to have a reason. So
Mm-hmm.
it was just going through the whole car, like checking everything, opening bags. Like, so I asked him, I was like, is there something specific you're looking for? Let's know.
Mm-hmm.
Because what you're looking for, I spoke in pidgin. I say, what you define? Not did this motor.
Mm-hmm.
Then he say, how do I know? And the next thing, the way they tell you that you want to teach me my job.
Yeah.
I was like,
Classic
"Oga,
line.
I will not teach you your job, oh. Do your
Mm-hmm.
job." So he checked and checked, and then he proceeded to check in phones. So then he checked Dan Carroll's phone and said, so I was like, Black say you come from abroad, you not come from here. And then this guy went as far as checking chat. I was like, strange. And then he saw a chat of Dan Carroll talking to somebody, I tell the person, man, I'm tired of this country. I don't enjoy coming to Nigeria because of things. And then he said, In pidgin o, una go go abroad, una no go come back, come develop country, see road, see everywhere scatter. And the next thing I was like, oga,
I
una
mean,
wanna get
government.
government.
As in,
You have a government. Now cities wey travel abroad will come back. So it shows
mm,
that. So at the end of the day, bro, we had the car couldn't start anymore. It was raining. Do you know these guys left us in the middle of the express and drove off? In the middle of the express, left the four of us, they drove. It took us a while to get out of that. And I was like, this will never happen in the US, in the UK or in the US. The police will never leave you stranded. I've seen cases where police people take people to work. I've seen it. They're stranded. They're like, oh, you're going to okay, get in. We'll quickly drop your work. They drop you off at your place of work. I've seen it happen. So, in a case where, after having this kind of experience, I understand that there's the because the truth is, when you have a taste of two cultures,
mm,
there's always one who is a superior culture to another one. It's just like when you chop food, they give you to a goosey soup. One must pass one.
yeah,
It can't be exactly the same. And
the same.
there's this the human as humans, we have this ability to just compare and contrast. Unknowingly, we're comparing and contrasting. And you did it as a person. When you came to the UK, you had a lot of it. Like I told you, like me, the first day I came to the UK, the first night I went out, I walked out and I saw the police. Immediately I
yeah,
was
you had that.
startled.
That you're tense. Yeah.
I was tensed already. Police for because in
Mm.
Nigeria, Baba, you know now, police for
And-
nights.
oh come on! It's a recipe for trauma already. Just loading.
Yeah, so
You know,
I saw these guys. I was tensed already, and the next thing, they walked past and they said hi, and I was like, "Hello," and I'm like, "What's happening here?" What's that? So I knew there's loads of differences, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really give me a right to start going online to because they are good. I've had good experiences with Nigerian police. I've had good experiences with things in Nigeria. There are things that are working in
yeah.
Nigeria. Give it or take
Hmm.
it. We cannot just come out. People are saying Nigeria is poor. Nigeria is not poor.
Not by any
Nigeria is
stretch of the
rich.
imagination.
We're not.
It's just the fact that there's this problem of not putting the citizens first.
Yeah.
That's I tell you, I said the difference between Nigeria or most African countries and European countries is that they tend to put their citizens before their own personal interest.
Yeah.
And that's just the summary of governance. Putting the interest of the citizens above yourself. And but at the end of the day, initially somebody came up to say, Davido did the same thing. He didn't get such backlash. And I don't know if you have seen that Davido's interview. I don't know.
Oh
Did you
yes, I
see
did.
it?
I did. I did.
What did he really say? That really because I don't know. I've not really settled down to see it because I can't say what he said that really
No, you see,
triggered.
the difference between both is that
Davido's interview was a one-off, right?
Yeah.
But Kemi's has been consistent, which also lets us know that she has an agenda, right? Because I mean, it's enough to talk about it the first time, second time, and then we move on. But it's a constant selling point. It gets her the attention she wants. It gets her being talked about. She's trending, and then it buys her way into the hearts of many of the citizens here. Which also aligns with her purpose. Um, so Davido, everything he said is true. Stuff we know, basically, right? Then Kemi is also, which is the second thing I talked about, she's also pushing her opinion as fact, right? Because you can't just sit there and say Nigeria is a poor country, that's why they steal. Come on, come on. Something we used to pride ourselves with then, was our honesty. It used to be a big selling point. I don't know if you remember then when we had storybooks where they talked about how you go to the market and there's nobody to attend to you. They just put number of stones to indicate how much this thing costs, right? You pick
And
what
you
you want,
and
put
you
the exact
pay
money,
and
and
you
you
go.
leave. Nobody needs to watch you. It's and then a particular tribe, the as in houses now, basically, they will tell you that they are genuinely honest when it comes to transactions. And a northerner tells you, okay, this is what we're doing, this is this deal, this is how, and then he sticks to it completely. So you can't just say there are people who are poor who would never take what's not theirs. And we have lots of those persons in. I mean, just incidentally, this one on X, I was reading a story about a lady who talked about how when she was young, her mom would come and fry pieces of meat when they have an occasion, and then just come and stuff it under her bed. And then the aroma as it kills her, it haunts her all through. She can't sleep, you know. And the mom just before she leaves the room would say, I've counted the meat too. you know,
so so
my
they
brother,
put you
talk
down.
about talk about temptation. So
What
I
my
don't know if
dad
that
what my
was to
dad used to
build.
say. He said the best person to give money to hold in the house is a thief.
Yeah, I mean, because your
So if you know
entire
the best, just say
reputation,
this is 20,000, hold on for me.
yeah, it's on the
Money
line.
safe.
Your cover is about to be blown. So, so that's on the one hand. I think Kemi is she is not doing too bad considering what her agenda would be. A classic example of who suits this purpose would be the legendary Tiami UMD. If you
Exact.
remember
And
him,
I was actually coming to that. Yeah, yeah. Just
Yeah,
continue. We're coming to that.
that's the perfect example of someone who would sell his country short, because you're not just speaking your experience, you're speaking your truth and say, well, I came here because I wanted to escape the tortures, the horrors that is back home.
home, right? But to say that every Nigerian who comes here to study does so with the intention of not going back, it's just a means of escape. I mean, it was nasty. I've never seen a worse example of selling your country
Or the
short. You
sellouts.
get it. I mean, oh my brother, it was nasty. And then the interview went everywhere, it was viral, and then there were some spin-off stories around him about how he was caught doing this and all that, which I can't tell if it's true or not. But then it's something. If you saw Shetima's reaction to one of Kemi's interviews back then, where he talked about, yes, I mean, we can't say Nigeria is the best right now. We have our issues and all of those, but to constantly sell your country short, constantly call us out, constantly make it seem like, oh, this is the worst place here on earth. It's not true and it's not proper. Rather than do that, why not just not talk about it? So, which also points to the fact that it is suiting her purpose. I mean, she's
Yeah.
contesting for an election sometime in the future, so it helps. It helps because, like I said, why would you? You said earlier that you won't find an American doing that. So I know my country is this, is nasty, is this, and nah. It's they have what you call a consciousness to protect the honor, the image of that country. Right from Thomas Jefferson, Abraham Lincoln days, where he would say, "Think not what your country can do for you, but rather what you can do for your country." So it's a consciousness they have that this is my country, this is my home. I'll do anything I can to protect her image, protect her honor, defend her if need be, and all of those. But you just find that we don't have that. And that's another area where I think we failed. Because I actually remember we had National Orientation Agency way back.
Yeah, yeah.
If my memory serves me correctly, who one time had Jim Obodo, I think they're about Jerry Sani, I think, yeah, who have headed this organization at some point. It was they used to drive home this consciousness of this is my country, this is my home. Nobody would do it better. And I think it was during the Koja Games 2000 where they had that theme song where all the artists came together. I think Sonia Day and you
Yeah.
can win and all of that. Nigeria. So it was we've had that consistently. Goodluck Jonathan also did his best to, as in just to sell the image that Nigeria is good. Nigeria is a good place to invest. And we did have a lot of FDIs at the time coming in to invest in the country. Because if you do that, one of the disadvantages is you are driving potential investors from coming in because nobody wants to come to a country where they know their investment is not safe. They're not guaranteed returns. They're not safe. I mean, even their safety is not guaranteed. So she's not seeing the bigger harm she's doing in constantly doing driving these narratives, because we're not the only ones from countries where we have issues. I mean, every country potentially has issues.
Every
Another thing
country
is
has
that
their.
another thing is that with this our country, I mean, the West generally, they are great at brand control, brand perception, as in they know how to spin. I mean, they say there's no bad PR. It's only how you handle it that matters, right? It's nothing like bad
Yeah.
PR. So how you control it determines. But even if there's an issue, the way they'll put a gag on it and they maybe just give it a narrative. I'll give a classic example that happened recently about the Seaside University and some Nigerians who had defaulted in paying school fees and who were going to be so there were different narratives that spun off from that particular interview. And then, because I live in Teesside, this is very close to me. So there was a time BBC came to one of the charity shops around close to us, and then they were interviewing Nigerians. And then we were shocked to see that what was released eventually was nothing close to what was said. So they had spun this narrative to look like, oh yeah, we're all struggling, oh we're poor, we need help.
They just pick out
It,
they pick out bits
Oh,
and
I
bobs
mean,
and
I
just
mean,
go
it
and
was, it
spin
was
it out.
I'm like, but this is not what was said. So I mean, so they are very great at controlling narratives, controlling patterns that come out from interviews, or we have a lot of work to do. But then we should know that change starts with us as individuals, right? What can I do to make sure that I can help in my own way? There's lots of them. I don't know if you remember the doctor who was an alumnus of UI,
Yeah.
where the VC at the time, yes, had to reach out. He had a very big doctor in the US, reached out to him because we were classmates at some point. Oh man, we need to do this. We need some help. And then he single-handedly gave $1 million to University of Ibadan, right? But I mean, you see,
Yeah.
all of those things you will not hear. You won't get such viral reactions from them because it doesn't do the image of the country any harm, right?
Anyhow.
So they just let it go. But I'm certain that Nigeria um, is not getting all the image branding that she needs at this time. And then it doesn't help that the president is number one guy is also guilty of that as well. Rather than selling your country to potential investors and giving everybody the impression
You
that,
are
oh
running
yeah,
from pillar to post,
I
begging
mean, I
for people
mean,
to come.
it's almost as if it's a competition for who does bad PR the most. So in fact, I'd not even
Our
heard of
president has
from.
become is a globetrotter. He's always traveling.
Oh, I mean, come on, a global ambassador, if you will.
So,
For
somebody
it,
said once that our president is competing with Pokoli for the most distance covered. Most distance
uh,
covered worldwide.
I, the guy, they also they move, But I was hoping that he would get in FDIs or some goodwill from all of these visits that he's been doing. So it's bad to see where we are now, and then Nigeria, take it or leave it. We have some of the brightest minds in the world, and
That's
it's
very
sad
true.
that. Oh, my brother, you see, the West, they are great at harnessing potential. So once they spot potential, easily pick you, give you all the
Me,
offers, make sure you're
I was recently, I went for a convocation ceremony. I don't know if you heard of the Mafidon family.
Oh, yeah, oh yes, yes. The
Yeah. So
allegedly
I
smartest
went
family.
for a
Yeah.
convocation recently in one of the
yeah.
universities in Glasgow. And it's so funny that, do you know that the chancellor of two of the leading universities in Glasgow, in Scotland, are Africans and Nigerians?
Wow, wow.
The chancellor of the University of West Scotland, UWS,
Okay.
she's Nigerian. She even went to the same primary school with my senior cousin in Warri, so she's a
Hmm.
local. Then
Hmm.
I think the other university, she's an Imafidon.
Oh, wow.
But what she does, she's into IT, cyber and all that, but she's really very vast, STEM and all that. But when
Yeah.
she was giving her speech, she said, as a child who grew up, who was born, who's from South London, and I
Okay.
was like, wow. That was the next thing I said. I said, your name is Imafidon. But you're saying I need to pronounce them.
My brother.
Imafidon no
It's
dey
all
for
right.
London.
Yeah, my brother.
In my mind, I said, which day Imafidon wrote on British names? But I understand. Because the truth is,
Yeah.
no matter how, I always say this, no matter how an American leaves America and stays somewhere else. I had a colleague who's Australian. He's been here for over 10 years. And every time you talk to him, you ask him, where are you from? He said, I'm from Australia. He doesn't say I'm British. He has a British passport, but he'll tell you I'm from Australia. The funny thing is, we as Nigerians always find the first opportunity to disassociate ourselves from our country.
Yeah.
And it's bad because the media is not even helping. Like, let me go back a little bit to the story of Tiamu. When Tiamu took that interview, the first question I asked myself was, someone is taking an interview and is telling you things. You as the BBC, was there any empirical study carried out to fact check what he has said?
They wouldn't
Because
help
the truth is,
their narrative.
when somebody comes and make a statement, most Nigerians, it's a vague statement. I was
Yeah.
speaking with somebody yesterday, the other day, we were having a conversation, and he said, I floored him, and he couldn't say. He said 80%, he said 90% of churches in Nigeria are business enterprise. And I asked, the first question I asked him was, I'm not going to argue with you. I'm not going to say you are right or you're wrong. But the only question I want to ask is, who carried out that research? Where are the empirical findings, the empirical data to prove that what you have said? You said 80%. So for you to put a percentage to it, it declares that you are speaking as an authority. Where are the empirical analysis and studies? And next he said, so it started stuttering. So at the end of the day, when you're making such statements, there should be some form of fact checking to confirm what you have said. Because the truth is, somebody will not pay £15,000 for school fees and spend maybe another £10,000 on travel logistics. That's £25,000 to come to the UK because I'm escaping from Nigeria. With £25,000 as at today exchange rate is over 50 million naira.
True.
My brother, with 50 million naira, somebody who knows what he's doing in Nigeria will not go hungry.
True.
Let's face facts. So you can't say somebody, because you are saying people are escaping from Nigeria out of hunger. Hungry people are not hungry. A hungry person cannot even think of traveling abroad to study. The first thing a hungry person is thinking of is how to eat.
Yeah.
That's the first thing a hungry person is thinking. How am I going to feed? Because it will be stupid of me to take all my life savings and come to the UK when I don't, which is there's a high level of uncertainty. I don't know what I'm coming to face, and I'm saying I'm escaping from where I am, and then I come here, and then the next thing you say, every Nigerians are escaping here, and they target Jackpot syndrome. I feel sometimes we are just selling ourselves short, because there are people in Nigeria with 50 million. They are living their life. They come here for vacation and they go back to Nigeria. They're enjoying their life. For the fact that I'm here, first of all, I came here to acquire education, which I feel there's a superior education to mine in Nigeria. After acquiring that education, I've seen opportunities I could leverage upon. And I'm leveraging on them because at the end of the day, I know a lot of people here who have trained here. I have a lot of guys. There's somebody who I know here who trained here, is a trained expert here. He's gone back to Nigeria and he works now with the Delta State government. But he's doing well because me as a person, I'm training as a camera operator, very sound, doing a lot of broadcasts. Tomorrow I can go back to Nigeria with the knowledge I have, because here they have superior equipment and everything. The standard is high. I can take that standard back to my country, and I see that I'm harnessing that standards. I'm building the standards of my country.
Yeah.
That's a reason for. So the fact that people just come online and say things and say that about that is funny, because the truth is Nigeria is still advancing.
Yeah.
Our technological space is still growing. Every day, social. If you look at the standards of our content creators right now, it's at par with any standard in the world.
Oh yes.
Oh
Would
yes.
you call that country a hungry country? That they are hungry?
No way.
Go on social media right now. There are a lot of people of Nigerian descent who are in the US, the UK. They are all trooping to Nigeria. Only today, I've been on Instagram. I've seen nothing less than 10 videos of get ready with me to come to Nigeria. Nothing less than 10 videos.
Yeah.
The fact that the problem we just have a government who doesn't know how to really leverage on our good side and sell us to the world. It's bad enough that we are in this situation now where the government is not helping, but it's even worse where the citizens are selling us short. It's worse. It's worse. So we need to really go back and really, what do you think we can do? Because we'll be wrapping up soon. What do you think can be done?
Well, on the part of the individuals, citizens, right? I think, like I said, you remember from Jonathan's government, change starts with me, right? So
Yeah,
they took that, yeah, it took that line, and then if you realize it, it's actually the truth, because when you stand in the mirror, the first person you see is you. So if there's something you don't like, make sure you fix it in yourself. If we even go Bible now, we're talking about the same thing. Take out the plank in your eye before you take out the speck in someone else's eyes. Right? So if you start to fix from within, it's easier when you can say, well, I have an opportunity to talk about my country, but I would not, because it might just be a 5 minute video, but then it stays forever. The internet never forgets. You
exactly.
will do much harm than good. Kids who grow up eventually to see that video, I'm like, man, I don't like Nigeria. Too much bad PR. I don't want to go back. I don't want to do that. So there are spin-offs from all of these things, right? Then on the part of the government, do all you can to collaborate with Nigerians who are doing fantastic abroad, which is another plus for Jonathan's government. I mean, he was excellent at it. He got the brightest minds from different countries of the world to come and serve in his government. See guys like Peter Obi, who he had made so much money here and then simply went back home. And then he was going to leave and even return his permanent residency. So I mean, this as in these guys are not talked about enough. Because during Jonathan's government, we had guys like um, Ken Additional, who was he became head of eventually the African Development Bank.
Yeah, the
We
African
had
Development, yeah.
Okonjo-Iweala, who has done great in the World Trade Organization and all of those. Um, Professor Batinaji, who is doing great. In fact, he was one of the minds behind the power plant in Abia State now, where they have uninterrupted electricity. So they're everywhere you turn, everywhere you look. There are Nigerians who are doing amazing. So government needs to find these guys, collaborate with them, find ways to work with them, and make our country what it should be. Nigeria has the potential to be the best country in the world, because, to be honest, everything we have is good going for us. We have the best weather. Anything you plant in Nigeria grows, right? So everything, we have natural resources, we have human resources, which is, I think, our greatest export at this point. Nigerians are doing great everywhere. See, what's this? Was it Israel? The I never expected it guy. Who I mean,
Honestly, I was shocked. I saw him recently. He's in the
my,
US
my,
right
my
now.
brother. That's what I'm saying. As in, once these guys see potential, they harness it quickly, give you options. Okay, well, and then they have you stay. You become legal. So, that way they have some form of claim to whatever greatness you tend to exhibit. They're very great at it. So Nigerians should the government should find ways to do that as well. Okay, would love to work with you. I have an experience of some senior officers in the Air Force, and who are my friends, who were offered letters by the Nigerian government then, who were they were in aviation school in the US. Would you like to come and serve with the Nigerian Air Force? We know you guys. So you see, when you have stuff like that, you see that with the more guys you're able to recruit, it doesn't even have to come here and work. It could just be consultancy.
Yeah.
This is what we'd like to do. How do you think we can do it? He said, I mean, okay, this is what I'll do. This is what I'll do. There was a doctor from the US, an orthopedic surgeon, if you remember, who went viral a couple of months ago, who
That
relocated
says
from
coming to
US
Nigeria
back
to
to
do
Nigeria.
surgeries. Yeah.
Yeah, to set
Yeah.
up, yes, a
Of course.
hospital. He has set up a hospital in Abuja now, and then so I mean, these are some of the ways that we can make sure that these things don't happen because the younger ones are watching, and it's what they see, they believe, and then they amplify. So gradually, all the kids who come here who are settled in, they're like, nah, I don't like Nigeria. I'll never go back. I mean, you have a generation who that's all they know. You'll be shocked that in the next 30, 40 years, no one willing to go back to Nigeria for any reason. Like, nah, I'm not going. So it's something we need to consciously build upon to ensure that Nigeria is projected in the image that we know that she deserves. Nigeria has potential to be the best country in the world, and I'm standing on that, and I'll do my part to make sure that happens, and I hope you will too.
No, the thing is, first of all, I would say you have said almost everything I need to say. But a few I will just add is the thing is, people who should learn to even this is advice to Nigerians abroad who probably are of Nigerian descent. Try as much as possible to associate with your country.
Yeah.
Try as much as possible, no matter what. Because I give an example. I was listening to an interview by Ademola Lookman, who plays for Atlanta, who's doing waves, and
Yeah.
he said the turning point in his career was when he decided to come play for Nigeria. And man's so popular right now. And somebody was not giving
Hmm.
an analysis of. He said Ademola Lookman, and there's this other guy who plays too in Italy, Tammy Abraham.
Okay. Oh yeah.
The Nigerian NFA approached two of them same time to come play for Nigeria. Tammy Abraham turned it down because he said he wants to play for
Yeah.
England, a few
England.
call-ups.
Yeah.
Ademola Lookman jumped on the opportunity. But to be honest, right now,
Nobody knows
conversations with
where
Ademola
Tammy Abraham
Lookman
is.
is
Yeah.
can never call Tammy Abraham in those conversations. Ademola Lookman was
No.
selected in the top 30 list of the Ballon d'Or. He was number 14 on the Ballon d'Or
Yeah.
listing. Man won the Europa League final. Was the MVP of the match. He's
Oh
he's
yeah.
he's he's front runner right now to win the CAF award. So you see the fact that associating with the country of your birth has its perks. It
Sure.
comes with its blessing. I'm going spiritual now, but I shouldn't. But it's something you should take when you try to give back to your homeland because you
Yeah.
see people from other African countries, they are going back home. They're giving
Hmm.
back. For example, and that's why I like this guy who plays for. I like what Bukayo Saka did. Plays for. He went back to Nigeria to give back. This guy who plays for Netherlands, Memphis Depay, he's always going back to Ghana. He always associates with his
Yeah.
country, Ghana. And in a way, you are building relationships, lasting
Yeah.
relationships. And but those of us who are abroad, we should always try as much as possible to drive home, drive that consciousness of our Nigerianness and Africanness. That's why I always give kudos to what Jambo Radio is doing, a radio station in diaspora that is driving home that Africanness, the consciousness of the African culture regularly.
Mm.
So if we have more Jambo radios like this in the UK or abroad in the Western world, who are driving home that agenda, there's
Hmm.
going to be this. We get to a point where there's this change in orientation, which is going to help us. And I believe it's going to be a gradual process, but
Mm.
eventually we're going to get there if we put so much effort. We're going to get there. I want to just thank you, Williams, for such a very wonderful episode. Such a very it was
No, it's been great.
it's
It's been such an honor
it's
doing
something
this
we
with you.
should go home and we should go back, sit on it, reminisce on it. How can we make Africa great again? Because Africa has so much, and by selling Africa out, we're not doing ourselves any good. To be honest, we should be able to
Not at
grow
all.
our country. Big shout out to Baron. Big shout out to George. Big shout out to everyone who made today's episode wonderful. Next week, Monday, which is the 23rd, is the final episode. And it's going to be a very fantastic episode because we're going to be coming live from the studio. It's going to be
Mm.
a one-off, wonderful Christmas special. Try and connect, try and be there with us. And big shout out to everyone who's been there
You wrote
all
me
through the
ticket
year
now,
who's
man.
been
Come.
supporting us. Huh?
You're on me ticket.
You
I'm
don't,
not falling.
you don't need tickets. You don't need tickets. It's free for all. It's free for all. Until we meet again next week. Thank you all for listening. Have a great week ahead and have a great Christmas celebration. We'll see you again before Christmas, but until then, stay locked in to Jambo Radio.
Peace.
Cheers. Peace. Bye.